Hello, everyone. Nanette, no introductions here. My guests are Joey and Marty from the Trash Picture Show. Now,
Nanette, just
I'm
call me the
using
bollocks from Ireland.
it
If
here.
if you call me the
If it's
bollocks
a
from Ireland, that will do.
movie, if it's a movie you want to see, maybe you want to skip this one because it's going to be discussing the ending of movies. So, there will be spoilers ahead, everyone.
And they're all downer ones. They're all fucking seriously bum you out kind of movies.
Whew.
Yeah.
The
So
reason I
so
came up with this, there was the it's people that I've been watching, and they were talking about the movie The Thing. If it's definitely a movie that has a depressing ending to it.
mhm.
Um, Not depression in the way that everyone was depressed. It's how you feel after watching it.
Yeah.
These are all movies that we all love. These are movies that we enjoy. That's why I got the idea because I don't really think that the thing could be made any other way. But it's kind of sad and depressing that everybody has to die at the end. But it kind of can't be any other way. Um,
I
some of these
I
movies, some people might argue, are not horror movies, but I think there are enough horror in them that you can put them in there, like Requiem for a Dream,
yeah. They're
um,
they're
The
they're they're
Following.
disturbing. They have a disturbing kind of veneer to them and stuff like that. Yeah, like I think horror is a genre where like 80% of the time, and I don't know, maybe Joey might chime in with this for me. The horror is a genre where 80% of the time you're not going to have a happy ending. Joey, would I be right in that surmisation, or do you think maybe it's 50-50, or do you think most of the time horror movies don't have a happy ending?
But yeah, I mean, they're horror movies, so they're not like regular movies. Where you're gonna have a feel good ending at the end. Um, so I mean, there's a lot of horror movies that ended with disturbing deaths or circumstances, and like you brought up one of them, the Mist. That I mean, it doesn't get more depressing than that. Um, so yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, horror movies. They tend to have more of a tragic ending, depressing ending. You could just go with bunch of them. So, but it's not like regular movies where they have a chance to redeem themselves. I mean, any movie can have a sad ending, but horror movies tend to have that disturbing ending towards the end.
yeah.
It's kind of a staple for the genre that there has to be a kind of a bleak ending and stuff. And yeah,
And
it
I'll talk
well,
about a movie that came to my mind that depending on who you are, you can argue that this is a depressing ending. Now, I don't think of it as one because there's no way they could have had the ending where the child had died. Um, I don't agree with that, but in a way, it is depressing. And that is the Omen.
yeah,
Damien Thorne lives, and he's supposed to be the Antichrist. That some people would look at that movie and say that was a depressing ending that he lived, but I don't agree with that. But it's all in the way you look at a movie too, whether you think it's depressing or not.
yeah. It depends on the scenario as well. Like 9 times out of 10, you know, the good guys could kill the killer, but they could be destroyed. They could be fucking psychologically. Yeah, they survive, but is it just that worth it? Like, you know, for that kind of for surviving, they're mentally broken and destroyed. Hell, some people could even argue that the movie Predator, has a downer ending because all of Arnie's unit is killed, and he's just there, this kind of husk of a man. Um, it's all about perspective. You're dead right, Nanette.
Yeah. A movie that popped into my head when you were talking about that, Marty. The movie The Evil Dead.
Yeah,
Ash, he had all of his friends got killed and were possessed and everything, and he had no one left after he was the lone survivor in that movie.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird kind of scenario. Um, but yeah, it's one of those cases. I think it just depends. Like, is surviving enough? Is surviving enough for our main character?
What do you mean that it ain't live?
Sorry, I'm just checking here, and it's actually not coming up on your channel.
Oh no, the one that I'm always on is not my actual channel. The name of my
Oh,
channel is Nanette's Mystic World.
okay. Apologies. That was a fuck up on my part. I was sharing it out and I was trying to find it on your other channel. Apology. If anyone's wondering, this is a fuck up on my part because I was like going on to Nanette's channel and I was like, okay, I'll share this out. And I'm like, where's the stream? So yeah, that apologies for that. It's, fucking technology is wonderful. Technology is a fucking pain. I hate
But yeah,
technology
I
sometimes.
do usually promote my channel out and everything. I don't go on to the one that I have because I've got so much money on it. I can't have free ads removed from it, so I use the other one. The one that you've seen me on, which is Nanette's Blood Horror Nightmare. Blood
No bother.
Horror Nightmare. But yeah,
Apologies for that, Nanette. That was a fuck up on my part because I'm like, hey, what? No. So, yeah, going back to Joey. What's question for you? And I hope you don't mind, Nanette. I'm going to bounce it over to Joey. What is a horror movie or a thriller or any movie where the character survives the ordeal, but like they're still fucked up from it? Is there anyone you can think of that kind of sticks with you, that makes you think, Jesus Christ, this person would be better off dead than surviving this whole fucking ordeal?
But maybe the Bruce Campbell in The Evil Dead, because he witnesses his girlfriend and all his best friends get killed, and it was a horrific movie. They're stuck in that cabin, and so I guess maybe that that film. But there's other ones where the main character dies too, and a lot of them tragically. Like you go the Wolfman with Lon Chaney Jr. He gets killed by his father, and
Yeah.
and maybe in that movie the father he's got to be messed up for killing his son because his son was trying to warn him that he was that he might be a werewolf, and his father didn't listen. He thought it was all in his mind, and at the end he's beating him to death with a cane, a silver tip cane that kills him because he's a werewolf. So he had to be screwed up for life after that. So that one comes to mind too, and maybe the American Werewolf in London, when David Norton's the werewolf, and he's dating his nurse Jenny Agutter, what's her name, Agutter?
Jenny Agutter.
Yeah, and she loves him so much that she runs down the alleyway and for a cornered animal, and she's trying to talk sense to him, even though he's a werewolf. And for a split second, he looks like he knows who she is, but then the animal side just takes over and he's getting ready to leap out at her, and of course he gets killed by the police. And at the end, you just see him there dead and bloodied, and she just falls apart and cries. You know, she had to be going through years of therapy after that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. They're solid picks, Joey. I would have never clocked any of the Wolfman or American Werewolf in London. Sorry, Nanette's steering the boat. I'm just spitballing here. Apologies, Nanette.
You're okay. What about you? What are some that you've thought of that apply to that, Marty?
Like I think, you know, there is lots of fucked up horror movies. Like the one that gets me, and it's a classic. It's obviously the Night of the Living Dead remake that Tom Savini done with Patricia Tallman and fucking Tony Todd.
Wow.
And it's a switch because Barbara in this one survives, but poor fucking Ben doesn't. Gets turned into a zombie. There's a moment of hope where you think, oh, maybe he's alive in the basement, and he comes up and he's zombified and they have to kill him. And some people might argue, oh, they kind of pussied out because they didn't want to do the original ending with Ben being shot by mistake, or maybe not by mistake, by the fucking mob. So I think that the fucking remake has a gut punch of its own, in that Barbara survives, but the one person she gave a shit about is dead. And then you've fucking Tom Towles coming down out of the attic, and he's like, you came back. And she's like, fuck you, dude. You screwed us all, and shoots him. That one comes to mind, Nanette. That one is definitely one that comes to mind.
Well, I'm not big into werewolf movies, but this is one of my favorites, and I definitely think that this goes into the vein of what you're talking about, and that Ginger Snaps. Ginger becomes a werewolf and everything, and she goes through all this stuff, and her sister tries to help her, but she couldn't, and then this guy brings this formula, and she shoots up the guy that her sister infects, and then she gets to see her sister get killed because she don't get to be turned back into a human, and she and then she gets bit at the end of it, and it definitely has a fucked up ending to it, but it's definitely one I love. But yeah, Ginger Snaps is definitely in the vein of having a fucked up ending where someone survived. But is it really better that she did?
Yeah, like the Mist. I like The Mist is another example where like
Oh yeah.
Thomas Jane kills everyone in the car, and he runs out of bullets, and then the military turned out were just right behind him, and it's like, Jesus fuck, again, that ending. And the original ending, it's on the DVD, and it was in the book. They just keep driving into the mist, but fucking hell, that ending in the movie, it hits you like a fucking ton of bricks.
Yeah, I saw that in the movies, The Mist, and you know how when the movie's over, sometimes people clapped. In this movie, like everybody was quiet. It was like what the hell just happened here, you know? That was just so depressing. It's like you felt like someone died, you know? It was like just doom and gloom.
It wasn't a fucking easy watch. I will give you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Derek, hey cool gamer. Nice to see y'all.
Hey lads, how you
If
doing?
you were to put in some movies that make y'all feel depressed when y'all watch the ending of it that are horror movies, feel free to.
I don't fucking the Adam Sandler movie. That makes me fucking new Adam Sandler movies. Any new Adam Sandler movies? That fucking makes me depressed for fucking quick, man.
You know what's a depressing one? I mean, it's not horrific or anything like that, but the original Night Stalker movie with Darren McGavin from
Yeah,
1972, because in that film, like, he saves the day, and he kills the vampire, and just this vampire's going around killing all these women, and the cops don't know how to deal with them, and they're shooting at him, and they can't stop him. So Darren McGavin tells the police how to kill them. They don't listen to him. Then finally they said, okay, we'll go with you, and he ends up killing the vampire. And then they repay him by getting, kicking his girlfriend out of town, who he was going to marry, and he loses his job, and then he gets kicked out of town. And if he ever comes back, they're going to put him in jail. So he loses his job, his career, and his woman, and his reputation as a journalist for doing the right thing. And as he says in the movie, I pulled your fat out of the fire, and you do this to me. By the late great Darren McGavin. I love that movie, and it's that kind of like pissed me off when I watched it for the first time as a kid. I'm like, wow, he did the right thing and helped the police out, and he gets paid back by getting railroaded and thrown out of town, and he loses his fiance forever.
yeah, that they're a great series. That's a great series of movies and a great TV show as well. The Night Stalker, big influence on the X Files. Big,
I
big
got the,
fucking influence on the
I
X
mean,
Files.
yeah, I got the shirt right there.
Nice,
Oh,
but
here's another one. A lot of people are not going to know this movie, and but I love it. It's bleak. It's actually the first movie that Jack Nicholson ever was in, and everybody thinks that the first one was Little Shop of Horror, but it wasn't. It's called The Terror, and Jack Nicholson's character falls in love with this girl, and there's this guy that is in love with the same girl, and he's an old man, but Jack is a very young guy, and he is in the war. And the woman is trying to make the old man commit suicide and everything, and what's revealed is she ends up being a ghost and everything, and the old man is Horace Carwell. He had killed her and tried to cover up her death and everything, and she wanted him to pay. And her mother was a witch, and she had involved where you could touch the ghost and everything, and people could see her and everything. And
yeah, it's a Roger Corman movie, right, Joey?
That's a Roger Corman film. I've seen it several times. Boris Karloff, the great Boris Karloff, and Jack Nicholson. It's got an eerie vibe. The whole movie. The scenery, the atmosphere. Great film, and I'm a Roger Corman fan, so I've seen all his films. I know he's the king of low budget, and but he put a young future superstar in with the one of the horror legends, the masters of all time together. So that's a great film, and a lot of people should check that film out because it doesn't get the credit it deserves. It's a very creepy movie too, and it's a chance to see Karloff and Jack Nicholson interact with each other. But I enjoy that film.
It someone told me basically he was working on the Pit and the Pendulum, and they had to set for a day and a half. And because Corman liked to squeeze every fucking penny he could get, he's like, fine, fuck it. I'll make a movie. I'll make a movie called The Terror. I've got these Napoleonic uniforms. I got this. We'll fucking throw it together. And what you get is a horror classic, which was essentially an afterthought. It was basically him trying to pinch the pennies and stuff. So yeah,
It's funny how these movies work out like that. How it's supposed to just some of these cheapies, these fast-made movies, the low-budget ones, they turn out to be the instant classics that you watch over and over again over the years. Like I said, I'm a diehard Carl fan. I'll watch anything that guy did. So, and Corman, I love the low-budget movies. They got a personality to them and a charm that some of the bigger budget ones don't have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
again, it's as well. He was kind of on an Edgar Allan Poe spiel, which is going back to what Nanette's saying. Like the Edgar Allan Poe. If you wanted depressing horror, you read Edgar Allan Poe. The dude was just Jesus.
I have more than one book that is Edgar Allan Poe, and I've talked about this before, that I'm Stephen King girly, and I have a lot of his books, but most people don't know that I have Edgar Allan Poe, and he was the first person books that I ever read. Well, except for the mandated books that we had to read in schools and everything. But actually, some of the stories from his things they were stories that I had to read in school, and then I got hooked on it and everything. And that was my first love of horror. Was Edgar Allan Poe's books and short stories, and
Can you remember any of the ones you had to read in school? Like, was it The Telltale Heart or?
That was one of them. And let's see, The Pit and the Pendulum,
Pendulum?
and The Raven was another one that I had to read. But I really got into them and wanted to read more.
It's interesting because, like, the curriculums in different countries, like here in Ireland for the Leaving Cert we had to do To Kill a Mockingbird and The Road to Memphis, and they're the most sorry.
You better believe you made us read that damn story in school.
But then it makes sense. It makes sense it's good. It's good because those two books promote empathy and show class struggle and show race struggle and stuff like that. But it was just very bizarre that you had two very obviously American stories being part of the Irish curriculum. And I'm like, okay. And again, I'm glad I did. I genuinely think that kids should be made read the likes of Road to Memphis or To Kill a Mockingbird, because in this day and age, more than ever, that's kind of the stuff I think people need to be encouraged to read and check out.
To Kill a Mockingbird. What was the other one? The Adventures of Tom
Sawyer.
And Tom Sawyer. Another one that they had us read was now we had to vote. We were seniors and everything, so our teacher let us vote. But we all picked to read The Tale of the Monte Cristo.
It's a great book.
Yeah, it is. We all loved it.
Nanette, I hope you don't mind. I'm gonna just turn the steering wheel a wee bit. Joey, can you remember any books you read as a kid? Was there any that you read in school, or was there any that you liked, or kind of like were you like, fuck this shit, or was there any kind of authors or anyone you were introduced to thanks to school?
Well, one thought was Zane Grey. He's a Western writer. I read his stuff, and of course I read Edgar Allan Poe, Arthur Doyle Conan. I read this. I'm a Sherlock Holmes fan, so I read anything. I loved mystery books, mystery and thrillers. that was my kind of thing. But I love Edgar Allan Poe. I used to have his book in a soft cover, and I used to walk around my pocket when I was bored. I just read it, and that's why when I started watching the Vincent Price, Roger Corman films, the book got me into those movies.
Hmm. Again, it's interesting how different the curriculum can be, even in the United States. Like it's strange. But sorry, Nanette, I'm deviating away from the topic at hand. Apologies, I didn't mean to do that.
If you ever watched any of my videos, especially when I have guests on, I will go from topic that I'm supposed to be talking about, and we'll go all over the place. It's nothing new for me. ADHD brain here, it goes all over the place.
No, but no matter. Is there any Nanette? Joey brought up a good point earlier on. Is there any movies that aren't exclusively horror that would be kind of downers as well? Is there any other ones that could be like, if like if there was again maybe crime or maybe drama or something, or is there anything like that you were like,
There's
oh,
a lot of movies that are and them things and okay, some of my favorite movies are I don't really do dramas, but the ones that I do, they all have a theme to them. They all have sad stories, like Stepmother. What is her? Susan Sarandon gets cancer, and Ed O'Neill is married to this young woman. He starts dating her, and then he marries her, and she's played by Julia Roberts. And the ending is Susan Sarandon dying, and they've got her and Ed O'Neill's characters got two kids. One's young and the other one's a teenager, and the daughter does not like it and everything. And this is a great example of a movie that is
wait. Ed
very.
O'Neill isn't Ted Bundy, or not Ted. No, not Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's the serial killer. Al Bundy. Ed O'Neill is an Al Bundy, yeah.
No, the name of that show is Married with Children, but that is his name in the show.
No. I know. I was confused. But it's Ed O'Neill from Married with Children, yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. I never saw him in like. I'm not trying to be fucking. It's just like fucking. Julia Roberts went with Ed O'Neill. It's like fucking.
Yeah,
Damn, sorry, Nanette. It's just Al Bundy got with Julia Roberts. What universe? That is fiction. I'm sorry, that's fiction. I suppose he's with another beautiful woman in Modern Family.
I think that's who it was. It's Ed something.
Would it be Ed Harris actually?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Ed Harris.
Okay. Ed Harris, I can believe. Ed O'Neill. Wait, hold on a minute. Sorry, Joey. You see where I'm coming from, right?
Can I tell you something? Ed O'Neill.
Go on.
Before Ed O'Neill became an actor, Ed O'Neill was an American football player, a professional football player. He played for the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers, and he was a big, tough. He had a full beard back then. He's a big guy. He wasn't like how he became Al Bundy, but he's a professional football player, and but he was actually a decent looking guy before he became Al Bundy, the shoe salesman.
It's just perplexing. Sorry, it was just I just fucking yeah, whatever. Yeah, but so yeah, those kind of weepy ones like fried green tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe. That's another one.
Yeah, I couldn't say that one. But yeah, them kind of movies are the ones that I like, which is kind of weird and everything. And another one, and go back to my roots with Stephen King, Stand By Me.
Yeah,
Nobody
yeah,
can say that that's not a sad tearjerker movie because it is. It's heartbreaking. What happens to River Phoenix's character at the end of that movie? Well, his character's a thing,
yeah.
and
Richard Dreyfuss gives the narration and explains he tried to stop a fight in I think it was a fucking fast food restaurant and he got his throat cut. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
it's it's especially sad as well when you consider the fate of River Phoenix later on in his life.
yeah.
Hey, can I bring up a movie that's
And
out of,
think about that. I have the DVD, and they talked about how, the one that was talking about it was Corey Feldman, talking about how sad it was and how he tried to help him because he was doing all them drugs and he just couldn't save him and
Yeah,
everything.
it is. It is
And
tragic when you lose someone that young. It's never like okay, maybe an actor when they're older overdosing or something, but not at that age. But yeah, Nanette, Joey's got a movie he wants to bring up. Can he discuss that?
yeah.
Go on, Joey.
this is not a horror movie, but it's got a very sad ending, and it's a badass movie. It's called The Shootist with John Wayne. It's a western, and it came out in 1976. And in real life, John Wayne was dying of cancer, so this was going to be his last film. So in the movie, he plays an aging gunfighter who's dying of cancer, and Ron Howard's in this movie too, and who idolizes him, young Ron Howard. And he at the end he gets his like there's like 3 or 4 enemies, and they all get together in this bar for this big time shootout because John Wayne knows he's gonna die in real life, and so he gets his enemies together, and at the end he kills everybody, and he's left standing, and he's wounded, and as he's walking away, the bartender was hiding behind the bar. He picks up the gun and he guns John Wayne down, and he runs out of bullets, and John Wayne's still alive, and he tries to pick up the gun, and Ron Howard, who was innocent in the movie, and his mother didn't want him to be hanging around with John Wayne's character, but she wanted him to stay away from guns. So Ron Howard picks up the gun from John Wayne, and he guns the bartender down, and at the end he just drops the gun, and John Wayne's dying, and he looks at him and he nods like, "Don't get into this lifestyle like I did," and then he dies, and then Ron Howard walks out, and it's just it's a very sad, gloomy ending, but it was it was a great film, but it was a sad ending. You felt bad at the end.
Yeah, like there is a dichotomy to say something like the Wild Bunch, because that's the way the lads wanted to go out. They were like, okay, our friend was killed by these pieces of shit. We're outnumbered, but let's kill as many of these fuckers as we can. And they're just fucking Warren Oates going to town with the fucking
Oh my God,
machine gun.
that's one of my favorite endings of all time, because they were like they had their friend and they were torturing him, and and William Holden comes out and goes, "Let's get Angel," and they all get up, and because they were running out of time anyway. Their world was changing.
Yeah.
They weren't going to change with the world, so they said, "Hey, let's go." And it's like four guys against like a couple of hundred, and when Warren Oates grabs that Gatling gun and he's going and he's getting shot up, and Ben Johnson had the gun first and he's getting shot up, and then he grabs the Gatling gun and he's getting shot up, and then William Holden grabs and it was just, and you see all these guys getting mowed down, and that's probably one of my favorite movie endings. It's a Sam Peckinpah film, and all his films are pretty violent.
I love Sam Peckinpah. I had the pleasure. I had the pleasure of seeing this after I saw Airwolf, and just seeing Ernest Borgnine using a Mexican peasant girl as a human fucking shield. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Oh yeah, he took that girl, and even William Holden's character, when he gets shot in the back by the girl and he turns around and he goes, bitch.
Fucking bang.
Yeah.
That's one you and me got to do a stream on and discuss.
Oh, if you do that movie, you gotta have me. You gotta have me on there. That's one of my all-time favorite movies. I don't even have to watch it again.
Most of sorry again, Nanette. We're fucking veering the car all over the road.
Well, I'm not really big into westerns and everything. Most of them are like that, but there's a couple that come to mind when y'all were talking about sad endings. And one of the two is two movies, and both of them have sad endings, but they're sequels to each other, and that's Young Guns.
Yeah.
Both movies, they're just there's so many bad things that happen in that first one, and how and to look at it and see it from the eyes of thinking about it as it's a real story and everything. It's a heartbreaking what happened to all them. And a little bit of information. Most people think that the guys, but especially since they did it for Young Guns, that they were older. No, these were teenagers. The regulators were kids. They talked about it in the movie, but nobody ever paid attention because all them guys look like they're old, like they're in their 30s.
That was the status.
But they were Billy was the youngest. Well, William was the youngest, and he was 14, and the oldest one was 17.
That was
Charlie
kind of the
Sheen was the oldest. But
sorry,
and then what?
No, I was just going to say that was the staple in Hollywood back then, even up till recently. You casted lads in their 20s to play teenagers and stuff. It's that was the kind of standard.
But another thing, and people don't really understand it. They kind of had to put people that were in their 20s and 30s into Young Guns because the guys that were playing, that were back in them days, if you look at like William H. Bonney and Vesta, Shabazz, and all the others. I can't remember any of the rest. Doc Holliday, all the
all of those guys.
In the 30s. They were teenagers, but they didn't live.
Yeah, the occupation of a gunfighter or an outlaw. If you clocked past 30, you were doing well. You were doing very well. You either got shot or you fucking
really fast. And the other one, and this is kind of based on a real story too. Kind of see a theme, I suppose. This is how I like my westerns, the ones that kind of loosely based on real life, and that's Tombstone. Everybody died in that movie except for Doc Holliday. I mean, except for
Wyatt Earp and Virgil survived, and apparently Doc and Wyatt had a major falling out before they actually passed. That scene with the chat in the hospital, that didn't happen. They were not on speaking terms when Doc Holliday passed, I think.
Yeah, they were mad at each other. Doc, Wyatt Earp said something about a Doc's girlfriend that he married and everything, and Doc knocked the hell out of him, and that was the end of their friendship.
Yeah, it's again. We even with sad endings, we like to romanticize stuff because, like,
Speaking of Wyatt Earp, he lived a long life. And he actually became a technical advisor on some of the movies in the 1930s. And he actually befriended a young John Wayne.
Jesus, John Wayne I did not know that.
Yes, John Wayne was a stuntman before he became an actor. and he was falling off the horses and jumping off trains and stuff. And Wyatt Earp was an old man by that time. They got him to be like a technical advisor on some films, and he befriended a young John Wayne.
It's amazing that you can. I suppose I have, but I suppose we all have our age group. But it would be astounding from going from one century to another with that much of a technical leap. I don't know. Could people our age say that yeah, it's super technical leap, but to go from the 1800s, late 1800s to the 1930s, and see things like the innovation of the motor car or the moving picture or the gramophone and stuff, that that would be like fucking, I don't know. I think that would be like traveling to another fucking planet to see those kind of changes.
Well, yeah, it's like the Wild Bunch when Edmund O'Brien's going, they got things in the sky that can fly, and Ben Johnson goes, "Oh, you're drunk again, you old coot," and the guy goes, "No, it's a plane that they're flying now." So that must have been like that's like probably us when the internet came out and you could talk to people like this and it's like, wow, I mean that's how it must have been with the plane and the automobile.
Yeah,
back then, we now don't really find it as astonishing as the ones back then. You people for years and years and years, they didn't want to get on them planes and everything. It took a long time before people started trusting to getting up in the air, even though there was a few that actually went up and did stuff and everything. Most people thought that they were crazy for doing it. Like Amelia Earhart, everybody told her, "You can't do that."
I like all those people that were. Do you remember, Ninette, when they start there's a famous incident where they're showing a moving picture and a train comes at the screen and people apparently fucking ran out of the cinema for fear of being run over by this train,
Yeah, stuff like that. We don't really get freaked out by that stuff now. Even the whole thing with us being able to do what we're doing right now. People don't really think about it. But back then, that stuff freaked. Even modern medicine is what they called it back then. Even that freaked people out. They wouldn't go to doctors when they started doing the modern medicine and stuff. They thought it was devil worshiping. It was witchcraft that they were doing. And now we go to doctors all the time.
Yeah, like people well, do you go back to if you went back 100 years or 200 years or 300 years and you told people, oh, there's these microscopic things that can make you sick called bacteria, they'd be like, what's this fucking devilry you're talking about? It's sadly, I think we're going that way as well, though, with some fucking people. Some people are like going fucking vaccines. Get the fuck please, chill out, man. Fucking chill out.
I mean, that goes to what something that right now they're back when I was in school, which was in the 2000s. We were mandatory made to get your vaccines before you could go to school. And now they're saying you don't have to have your kids vaccinated for polio, for measles, for chicken pox. And we're going back to the dark ages. And I don't agree with it. I don't think that it's right. They should be made to do that. Because these things will kill you if you don't get vaccinated for it.
Or even if you're okay, you might fucking make someone like a young baby sick or an elderly person sick. Again, I'm not going to fucking push any views. I don't think, Ninette, I know you don't fucking push political stuff. These are just our fucking opinions and stuff. But it is.
It's just my opinion. But you may not get sick from it. But it's like, I got chicken pox when I was about 5 years old, and it's always going to be in my bloodstream. And probably in a decade from now, I could possibly get shingles. But that stuff can kill you.
Yeah. It's hard. It's
And
fucking
that's the
hard to
whole
try and
point
explain
I'm
that
trying
to
to
people.
make about that. It isn't
Yeah.
really political stuff. It could kill somebody else, like you said. And
Here, Nanette, we'll steer the conversation back onto something fucking, well, I'll say happier, but we're talking about depressing movies. Joey, is there any other fucking flick that bums you out, but you'll watch it over and over and over again?
If you mean
uh,
any kind of movie or a horror movie?
Go any kind of movie.
well,
I hope
we've
you don't
been
mind,
talking
Nanette.
about other movies, so you can talk about any of them.
Yeah.
It was going
Okay.
to be a talk about horror, but we went past that.
Another great film. It's from the early '70s. It's called Brian's Song. And bring a tissue when you watch this movie because you're gonna cry. It's about the story of two football players played by James Caan and Billy D. Williams. The true story about they play for the Chicago Bears, and James Caan's character Brian Piccolo gets leukemia, and he's dying. And but before that, him and Billy D. Williams, he plays Gale Sayers. They were the first black and white roommates to room together in sports, and they become great friends. And he helps Gale Sayers come back from a knee injury, and he helps him become an All Pro. But Brian Piccolo gets leukemia, and he's slowly starts to get sick. And at the end, he's in the hospital bed. You know he's gonna die. They're taking this out of him, they're taking that out of him, and he's in the bed, and he comes up he sits by the bed, and they touch hands like that, and they're talking about their careers and stuff, and he's dying, and then they play. Oh my God, they play this sad song. It's by Henry Mancini, and they play the theme, and when this song plays, you're not going to have a dry eye in the house. It just gets to you, and it's. But I've watched this movie every year since I saw it when I was a kid, and it's a great film, but it's very sad at the end, especially when they play the music. But it's based on it is a true story, but you have to watch it at least once. It's called Brian's Song from 1971. It was a made-for-TV movie, and it was actually the #1 TV movie of all time until Darren McGavin and the Night Stalker knocked it out of the water the
Everything
following year.
comes back to the Night Stalker.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Bacon. You got to come back to something. But yeah, it was the #1 TV movie of all time until the Night Stalker came, and that was the #1 TV movie of all time.
That's you fucking. I gotta check that one out. Have you seen that one, Annette?
I haven't. I've heard of it. I'll definitely have to check it out. That reminds me of another movie that's based on a true story. It popped in my head. Philadelphia. It's about a lawyer that's gay and played by
Tom Hanks and
Tom
Denzel Washington.
Hanks, and he gets AIDS, and it's so heartbreaking, and how not only that he is dying from AIDS, but how all the people want to get him out of his job, and he has to fight to show that he is qualified and everything, and
Yeah,
it's very moving and everything, and very sad movie.
It's a fucking fantastically acted movie. Like like
Yeah.
Denzel and fucking Tom Hanks, and a very early turn from Antonio Banderas as Hanks's partner. And yeah, again, it just showed not only is he having to battle kind of AIDS, but he's also having to fight against the company that's fucked him over and stuff. And again, it's a fucking it's a hard one. Joey, what's your thoughts on Philadelphia, man? It's a hard fucking watch. Like,
Oh, it's definitely not a feel good movie. It's it's a shame that I'm sure that's happened in real life to people too, which is a damn shame.
Well, it's based on a true story. It happened.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. It was an outstanding film, and of course, it's got the great song by Bruce Springsteen too, "Streets of Philadelphia."
Hmm.
And also it features Antonio Banderas is in it. I think he plays Tom Hanks's boyfriend in the
Yeah,
movie.
he's his partner. It's very early role from him.
Yeah,
He plays his partner.
and he ends up leaving Tom Hanks. And it shows you how it's almost like leprosy when you had that back then. You just people avoided you, even your family, and you lost your job because of it, and you know it's hard. You die. You're gonna die a horrible death, and at least die with some dignity and some love, and have somebody that's gonna comfort you, instead of dying alone and alienated and disgraced. So they did a great job with that movie, and Denzel was he's a great actor anyway, and Tom Hanks. The great song by Springsteen. It was when it was first coming out. It was a terrific movie.
It was fantastic.
Speaking of that movie, they used to could discriminate against people and everything, but because of the guy that was dying of that stuff, and the one that is portrayed to be Denzel Washington's character, they made it where you cannot fire somebody because of their sexual orientation or if they're sick or something.
Hmm.
It's against the law to do that, and that was a big part of it. Which it's a very sad movie, and they brought that to light with that movie too, and everything. The movie came out 2 years after the guy that had the AIDS had died, and everybody signed on to it because they wanted people to be aware of how they were being discriminated against, and wanted it to be changed. And if it's a movie I like, even if it makes me very emotional, I will find out as much as I can about it. That's how I know all this stuff about the whole story of Philadelphia. And like you said, Joey, it was very sad. It chokes me up every time how people. It also shows you that age isn't something that you can really contract. It's everybody back in the old days thought that you could shake somebody's hand and get it, and it's a blood transfusion thing that you only get it if it's contracted through the blood.
Yeah,
And
Well,
it's
that's what happened. That's what happened to the actor who played Starsky and Hutch. He Michael Paul Glazer. He lost his wife and kid from they got blood transfusions and they got AIDS and they died.
Jesus. I never fucking knew that, man.
Yeah.
another
Fuck.
person that got AIDS, and you probably didn't know this, was Rock Hudson.
Hudson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Rock
He
Hudson.
was
Like again, that I felt bad because, and not that there's anything wrong with it, but it in subsequent years, I think his sexuality was called into question as a result. Now, whether he was or wasn't, it's fucking it doesn't matter. But truth be told, it's no one's fucking business what his sexuality was.
exactly.
Yeah, it was.
If you don't want people knowing what your sexuality is, it's no one's business, and you don't
Hmm,
have. No one has the right to be questioning what you. And it kind of went into play with that, and even kids that were teenagers were being because they when AIDS started coming out, they called it the the gay thing, but it isn't. It affects anyone. And back in the old days, and it changed because of this AIDS epidemic. They were shooting people up with medicine or taking drug plan with the same damn needle. And
yeah,
thank goodness that they figured out why you were getting AIDS and everything, and they changed everything. 'Cause yuck, using
You,
the
you
same
know,
needle on multiple people.
you know, shit
That's
went bad when Ted Turner tried going in with his 2 cents. There's an episode of Captain Planet with Neil Patrick Harris as a teenage boy who contracts AIDS, and Jeff Goldblum, his character, who's like a giant man rat, starts spreading leaflets around the school that he has AIDS, and you're like, "What the fuck is this shit?" Again, their heart was in the right place. They tried doing another episode about Ireland, about Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, and like some lad from the north gets his hands on a nuclear weapon and he's going to blow up the Catholics, but then the lad from the Catholics gets it, and then they come together and it's solved. Everything. Forget the Good Friday Agreement. How Catholics and Protestants come together in Ireland in Captain Planet is they open a bakery. They open a fucking bakery together, and they're like, shit is not solved that easily. But yeah, fucking Ted Turner, you motherfucker. Bad enough to colorize fucking, you colorized fucking It's a Wonderful Life, you prick.
Oh.
Aye, sorry. Anywho,
What are you trying to say to me?
the dog is your dog.
Hello. Yes, he's trying to talk to me, wagging his tail.
He's like, what the fuck is that sound? It doesn't sound normal. That's not
Let
American
me know to everyone. Yeah, you say hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, my gentle.
But yeah, what was I going to say to you, Nanette? Is there any? Have either of you guys seen $1 Million Baby? Now there's a fucking depressing fucking movie.
Oh my god! Yeah, the way she died at the end, that was horrible. Those are the kind of movies that just make you. Those are the kind of movies that make you think a lot after it's over. And it's like, well, it's depressing, and those are the kind of. It's a great movie, but those are the kind of movies I only watch once because you know what's going to happen, and you know it's going to be depressing, and but it was Clint Eastwood and Morgan Freeman and what's the actress's name that played the
Hilary
fighter?
Swank.
Yeah, Hilary Swank. That was a great film. But didn't Clint Eastwood direct that movie too?
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Another
think?
movie that is very depressing and that it comes to mind is I don't know if y'all have seen this. Joey probably has it because it's a Disney movie. Me watching all the Disney movies you were talking about, Marty, he didn't know any of them. The Bridge to Terabithia.
Is that a Disney movie? I thought that's a DreamWorks
Yes,
movie.
it is.
Okay. Yeah, so it's weird, Joey. It starts off like a Narnia movie, a modern Narnia movie, and as Nanette said, spoilers. This guy, he's new in town, and he has trouble making friends, and he makes friends with this girl, and they have this imaginary.
He's not new. The girl that he is friends with moves to town.
Gotcha.
He you can check it out. You know who's in that movie? It's the guy's dad. Him himself. T2, the Terminator.
Robert Patrick.
Crap, what's his name? Yeah, Robert Patrick plays the dad in the movie.
And he's good. He's good. But it's so you're watching this whimsical. You're watching this whimsical movie. They're fighting evil dwarves. They're doing all this shit. And then one day he comes home from school and he's like, how come she wasn't in school? And she fell into a lake and died. Was she broke her neck or did she drown?
She drowned.
She drowned. And it's like, where the fuck did that come out of? Because you're watching this thing and you're like, this is cool. This is fun. What? What, the little girl fucking drowned? What is this bullshit?
Well, there was this writer. She had a son, and he had a best friend, and he had her for forever. If she didn't take and do the story of their friendship and everything, but she wanted to write a book to show her son about grief and everything. So she wrote the Bridge to Terabithia, and that's how that came about and everything. And it took the kid a long time to get over his friend dying and everything. And
Yeah, the
but
trauma. Like, I think as an adult, we can compartmentalize fucking change. Even if it is death, I think adults can get over. But kids, because it's such an alien concept to lose someone that age. Like, another fucking scene that reminded me of, Nanette, My Girl. Do you remember My Girl?
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Macaulay
It's another
Culkin.
movie that is
Yeah,
very emotional and sad.
yeah.
Um,
Joey, do you remember that scene I'm talking about?
The one that's one with Macaulay Culkin gets stung by the bees and dies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember that. And that little girl. She did a hell of a job. Who was that little girl in that movie?
I think she only starred in those two things. Her character's name was Veda. Do you know the actress's name, Nanette? Do you, by any chance?
I can't remember her last name, but her first name is Anne something or another.
Okay. Fuck it. I have a computer at my fingertips.
She
Also,
was very good in it. Especially that crying scene she had to do when he died. That was a sad. Anytime you kill a child off in a movie, it's kind of horrible.
it's
Nice to see you.
Hey, our life in horror. Hey, dude. Well, I'm just going to try and find. So, okay, and the toaster goes to Nanette. Yes, Anna Cholumsky. Chumlunsky. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
I know her first name. I just couldn't pronounce her last name and everything. She's in another movie that I absolutely love, and there's a lot of grief in it. It's not what we're talking about, endings that are horrible, but it did deal with grief, and it's called Gold Diggers, The Secret of Bear Mountain. And she did that movie with oh crap, what can I remember her name?
Christina Ricci. Christina
Yes.
Ricci. There you go. That's that.
But
that
yeah,
that's,
you know the movie? Nobody knows that movie. Everybody's like,
I
"What is
saw it
that
years ago. I
movie?"
saw it years ago. And Nanette, I owe you an apology as well. She was in Cholumsky, whatever her name is. She was in way more than 2 movies. I don't know how the name of fuck. I got. Yeah, I'm fucking. Jesus Christ, Martin, you're slipping, boy. But yeah, fucking. It's weird when you think of kids' movies with depressing endings because it's not really kind of, Joey, is there any kids' movie or cartoon that you can think of that has a downer ending or a depressing ending?
Well, there's one movie, again from the early '70s. Mark Singer's in it, Beastmaster. It's called Something for Joey. It's about this. Yeah, it's Mark Singer plays football player John Cappelletti, and he's going to Penn State College before he turned pro. And his younger brother, who's maybe about 10 or 11, he develops leukemia, and he's dying. And I saw that movie when I was a little kid, and I kept thinking they were going to cure him because you don't think a kid's going to die, and he doesn't die. He loses his hair from the chemo, and he's got to wear a baseball cap, and it's heartbreaking. What the kid goes through, and then at the end, when he's the football player's getting an award, he breaks down crying. saying how his brother's the real hero. But it's a true story, and that's another one that you got to bring a tissue for because it's just a very sad movie that a little kid can die like that from a horrible disease, and how it just takes its toll on the body. And I saw that. I was a kid. I was bawling at the end of it.
Yeah, that something like that would be fucking rattling, like fucking Old Yeller, another one as well. Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
God.
Old Yeller.
I can't even watch that movie anymore. I saw it. It's a Disney movie. I saw that when I was a kid, and it's got the song too. Old Yeller, come back, Yeller.
Yeller, best
Yeah,
goddamn dog in the
yeah,
world.
yeah. And he saves the kid, and then they put him in the barn, and because they want to see if he's got the rabies or not. And then the father, played by Fess Parker, who played Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone, he's going to do it, put the dog down, put him out of his misery. And the son says, "No, Dad, he's my dog. I have to do it." And oh my God, that's I can't even watch that movie anymore. That I broke down because I'm an animal lover. I love dogs, cats, whatever. I love them. And when he has to shoot that dog who saved his life, and he raised since he's a pup, and at the end he gets another puppy, to not take the place, but to raise him and stuff. But that movie. Oh God, I can't even watch that anymore.
It's
Yeah, even like it's definitely very disturbing and very oppressing movie to watch. And all not just the ending, the themes of the movie is big
it's
on being depressive. Um, but yeah, another one, I don't know if you look at it as something that's depressing. It doesn't depress me now as an adult, but when I was a kid and I watched this movie, I felt bad because they had to say goodbye, and that's E.T. Um,
yeah.
and he had to leave and everything, but he had to. Them damn government people would have been trying to experiment on him. They were already trying to, and
I, it's
it
yeah,
just made me
fucking,
very emotional as a kid watching that movie.
fucking ET had the right idea in it. What's going on in the world? I'd love to fuck off out of this fucking planet.
If ET came here today, he would be arrested by ICE.
ET phone home. You're not getting a phone call.
You don't
Fuck.
get no phone. You don't get no phone calls.
Fucking hell. Jesus Christ.
What a world!
I Nanette, if you get a chance, I know you say you don't go to the cinema and stuff, but if you get a chance to, when it comes on to streaming or whatever, the fucking Long Walk, I went to see it yesterday. That movie fucking destroyed me.
I'm fully aware of how depressing it is. I mean, it was the first book that Stephen King wrote. That now it's a short story. It's not a but when I finally found the book and everything, it was by itself. Stephen King has a tendency to write really long ass stories and everything, and stick them into novellas and call it a novella. Um, look
What
at all
was it?
his big books. But
Nanette,
when I read it, it was in a book by itself, but it was originally in short story
skeleton.
form into a bigger book. But yeah, it was the first book I ever read by Stephen King, so I know how depressing that story is. It's a very hard read. I was like 14 years old when I read that book.
Nanette, was it in a compilation novella called Skeleton Crew? Was that the one it was in?
No, you see, here's the thing about it.
I know,
Well,
he done it
the
under another pen name, Richard Bachman.
Yeah, he wrote it under Richard Kaufman.
Yeah, but um, the
The
movie.
Skeleton King is what he did under his own name. But no, I can't think of the Buckland books is what it was under.
Oh, okay,
From what
gotcha.
I'm researching.
That was all the stories he wrote under his pen name, right? That was the collection of stories he wrote with the pen name. Okay, like someone told me now. Here's one thing in it. Someone told me they changed a lot from the original short story.
Yeah, from what I've heard, they've done and changed, especially the ending. But even at that, it's still they can't really go too far off the main script. And
Mhm.
either way, it's a very depressing story. Whether it's I don't see it not being one because it's so depressing and so bleak and so it's a hard story to read and
Yeah, it's Joey. Have you read that one? Actually, have you read any Stephen King stories?
Oh, Stephen King books. Yeah, I've read the Sims lot and The Shining and Carrie.
that's
Yeah,
another book movie that is a horrible ending. The Shining, whether you're talking about Jack Nicholson's version or the made-for-TV adaptation or the book, it, Jack Torrance dies at the end of it, no matter which version you're looking at, and it's a very sad story as well.
yeah. It's again Stephen King does not. I'm trying to think. Is there might be one or two uplifting stories, but by and large, they're hard to watch.
This
Lovely.
is another one that's horrible. It's so sad. It's not a real made for true story, the book and everything, but it was based on things that happened, and they actually had people that were being kidnapped and everything, and the writer wanted to bring light to that, and he wrote the book, and it was a sad book, and it was also a sad movie. It's heartbreaking. But yeah,
It's
the only movie that is a Stephen King thing that I can think of that was not sad, that was not depressing, is the Shawshank Redemption.
yeah. That one is fairly uplifting. Like yeah, fucking even the Green Mile. Even the Green Mile is a fucking downer as well. Yeah, it's
Exactly. I can't think of anything that he wrote that didn't have some kind of bleak sadness to the story and everything to a certain extent.
yeah,
Well, and there was a story he wrote, and it was a manuscript that he didn't write a book for. He wrote the script to it. This is in. You can come at me and say that it had hard things to it, but I kind of like the ending, and I think it was a better ending than a lot of his other ones. It's called Kingdom Hospital.
I haven't seen that series.
It's a really good one. I really enjoyed it.
I need to check it out. I remember it being advertised back in the day. But yeah, no, I again, King is not someone who writes stuff to make you feel better. Like it's one of those things. It's like if you're going into a Stephen King book, just fucking just be ready for fucking emotional trauma,
Even the Eyes of the Dragon, which is supposed to be his fairy tale version of American version of the Lord of the Rings, was a dark ending.
I never read that one. I is that connected to the Dark Tower trilogy, Nanette?
Yeah, it's got Randall Flagg in it, and
Yeah,
Randall
yeah.
Flagg is the Dark Man from the Dark Tower trilogy. Um, and you want to read all the books that are connected to that stuff. You need to read what is it? Night Shift. His short stories. There's one in there. There's Eyes of the Dragon. There's The Stand. There's the Dark Tower. They're all connected to each other
Yeah,
and
and
everything.
doesn't some creature isn't it kind of alluded to that it exists in that fucking universe as well? The creature that it is. Yeah. So yeah, it's
The Dark Tower kind of brings all of the stories from all his other books
mm,
together and ties them all together with each other. But
yeah, because they were kind of one instance is saying that like the Cerberus, the guard dog to a particular area, is this rabid fucking Saint Bernard, and I'm like, is that fucking Cujo? Are they talking about fucking Cujo and the fucking Dark Tower? And it's like, what the fuck? But
they do.
it's interesting. It's interesting and stuff. Um, but yeah, I think if you're going into Stephen King, just be aware that you're not going to have a feel good fucking story. Like, um,
Yeah,
Joey, is
I
there any
like the stories. I mean, I, I'm I'm morbid. I like reading them stories that are don't have happy endings and everything.
So is Jen.
Sometimes you
So is
do.
Jen. She wishes she could have joined you tonight, but due to some technical issues, she wasn't able. But yeah, Joey, is there any other stuff that you can think of that's like super fucking depressing that you're like, Jesus, what's the deal with this?
Well, there's one. This is a horror movie. It's I think it's from '67. It's a Roman Polanski film. It's called The Fearless Vampire Killers. And may have seen
Yes.
that. And it's a comedy throughout the movie. It's about Roman Polanski's a sidekick, and he's with the older professor, and they're searching for vampires. And this girl is played by Sharon Tate. She gets kidnapped by the head vampire and taken to the castle. So they take off looking for her, and they try to rescue her. And it's a it's a creepy movie, but it's funny, and it's got this atmospheric settings. It takes place in wintertime, dead of winter. Anyway, they spoiler, they rescue Sharon Tate, and they whisk her away. They're in the sleigh, and the professor's driving the sleigh, and he's trying to revive her. He thinks she's dead, and she wakes up, and he's like, "Oh, thank God you're alive!" And he's talking to her, and he's not paying attention, and all of a sudden she opens her mouth, and she's got these huge fangs, and she bites him on. She's killing him. She's biting him on the neck or turning him into a vampire. And then the narrator says, "And the vampire plague, was allowed to spread through the world." So
Mhm.
they went in to try to stop the plague, the vampire plague, and they
And they
unleashed it
ended up
upon the
spreading
world.
it.
Yeah, I
Ah.
just I love that. When I saw that movie, I was like, wow, I didn't think he was going to get killed or turn to a vampire. I wish I would have done a sequel to specify it better, but I thought it was pretty rare to have a movie that was funny throughout, but then has a dark ending.
Yeah,
He
it,
is known for not making sequels. He really is.
it it's weird. It depends. It depends. Some people can do that transition really well, others can't.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a shocking ending, and like I said, throughout the whole movie, it was comedic, and you love the chemistry between Roman Polanski and the old actor, the professor. I forget what his name is, but he was really good in it too. And the guy that played the head vampire was excellent in it. It was just a fun movie. But then the last couple of minutes, it turns dark.
It's fucking it's it's again, I love movies like that as well because you're like, hey, and then just out of nowhere. But it has to be a particular kind of director to pull it off because sometimes it can just be like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, But
Well,
yeah,
I know Roman Polanski isn't the best person in the world, obviously, but he did a great job with that film. He's a great director.
mm,
I'll tell you on another one that's in the same vein. It's a vampire movie, and people don't really know this movie. Some people do. There's actually three of them, and even the people that know the second one don't know the third. Okay, John Carpenter's Vampires. I'm not talking about that movie because that kind of has a happy ending. They kill the vampire, and but and the second one is called Los Martes.
oh my god,
There's
Vanessa, you talking about the one with Bon Jovi?
Yeah, it's a
yes,
Vampires Los Muertos.
Oh my
yes,
god,
Los
not that
Martes.
movie, please, Jesus.
I love that movie. Why does everybody hate that movie?
I don't hate it. Look, no, if you love it, I apologize. I apologize. I just no,
It's
it's not the
fine.
movie as such. It's just Bon Jovi, that fucking head of hair. Jesus, I get PTSD thinking, God damn.
He's a soldier. What do you expect? That's what they dress like.
Look, that's too much. There's too much product in that man's hair. There's too much fucking product in that man's fucking hair. It makes no sense. Aye. Jesus.
No, quit that.
God. I can't. I can't. I
He's
can't
just
fucking.
stopping myself.
I can't stand Bon Jovi and I can't stand his hair. If
Oh
I
my!
could, I'd shave his head. I just.
But at the end of it, oh, we are talking about movies that are sad, depressing. Not necessarily the story is; it's the way it makes us feel when we watch them. And right now, I'm talking about vampires. Lost more.
But you're
Or
talking about your obsession with Bon Jovi's hair. That's what you're talking about, Nanesh. You're fucking obsessed with Bon
no,
Jovi's hair.
you are talking about that.
Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, oh, we're living on his hair. That's what you're talking about. That's what you're talking about. Don't die. God damn, fucking Bon Jovi and his hair. That's what depresses me.
They wanted to infiltrate the vampires, and Bon Jovi's character didn't think that he would be able to, so he got the
Not with that hair.
girl that was already infected, Zoe, to start putting her blood into him because she was a vampire. And if that's not depression, I don't know what the hell is. Him damning himself so he could kill the head vampire.
I fucking. He's already damned in it. He's that fucking giant mop of fucking hair in his fucking head. Jesus Christ. God fucking damn it.
We're talking about his character in a movie, not him.
Joey, what's your thoughts on Bon Jovi's hair?
I wish I had Bon Jovi's hair. Instead, I got your hairstyle, Marty.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy.
What do you want from me? What is up with you? Why
You know,
are
you know,
you
you know,
trying to get me and kiss me?
you know what's a depressing movie? The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a depressing movie. Because he gets hunted down and exterminated like he was doing to the I guess they were like kind of like vampire zombies.
Yeah, it's based on the Richard. It's based on the Richard Matheson
Richard
novel I Am
Matheson, yeah,
Legend.
yeah,
I
and
And
imagine.
the point of that title is he's the boogeyman, he's the monster, he's the creature. He is Society has now changed into these creatures. These are the dominant race now, and he is the monster. He is the creature from folklore they need to wipe out, and that's it's a cool fucking premise.
what was the name of the movie? Martin.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh,
there's a lot of fucking George A. Romero, the only vampire flick he done. He named the fucking not only the main character but the movie called Martin.
Martin, yeah, that movie disturbed me.
J. Romero's movies are depressing, if you think about it. Granted, he was friends with Stephen King. I mean, they both like to make Stephen liked to make books on depressing stories, and yours like to make movies on it.
They did Creep Show together.
Yeah, they did,
They
and
did.
that one has a very down and dour ending for sure.
They did a lot of different things. You probably didn't know this, but him and Steven did Knight Rider together too. Back in
Yeah,
the
Ed
60s.
Harris, Tom
Harris.
Savini, that Patricia Tallman. That's a great movie. That's an interesting one. No one ever talks about that.
Yeah, speaking of the Last Man on Earth, they which was your favorite version? They had the Omega Man, which that's my favorite version with Charlton Heston. I think that's a badass movie. And then they got I Am Legend with
Will Smith.
Will Sucker Punch Smith.
I don't really want to see movies.
I
Now, my aunt told me, Nanette, you need to go watch that movie again. The first time I watched it, I didn't like it. I've been meaning to watch it again, but I got so damn mad at that movie, I broke the damn thing because they killed the dog.
yeah, no, you don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. That's why that's my least favorite version. I go with the Omega Man, Last Man on Earth, and then I Am Legend. But I can't watch that scene anymore. Anymore. I only watched it once. I couldn't watch that scene again.
In its defense now, and I fucking hate that movie. That does happen in the novel. That does happen in the Richard Matheson novel. So you can't blame the director for something that's in the book.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with a Mega Man. Just fucking Charlie Heston going around. What is
movie?
Huh?
I've only seen I Am Legend and The Last Man on Earth. I really should watch Omega Man, but I haven't seen
good. It's weird. Also, Joey, what was it about Charlie Heston doing post-apocalyptic fucking dystopian movies in the 70s? He done this, Planet of the Apes, and Soylent fucking Green. He was on a bit of a fucking down and dour role.
Yeah, he did the other one he did with Edward G. Robinson, the great Edward G. Robinson. Planet of the Apes, of course, the classic Planet of the Apes are my favorite ones. I didn't like the new ones that came out. I only saw the first one. I didn't like it, and I like when the apes get the leather jackets on. They're riding the horses. They got the guns. So yeah, but Charlie Heston was badass. I mean, the Omega Man. He's riding around the convertible. He's got the sunglasses on. He's got the shotgun. And yet Anthony Zerbe was the villain in the movie, and he's still alive too. I'm a big fan of his. I thought it was just creepy. I love the guys with the eyes and the hoods and everything. And
yeah,
that
kind of cultists. It was funny they didn't want to say vampire. They were kind of worried would people be like, "Oh, this is stupid."
But I don't consider them vampires because they weren't biting anybody and they didn't have any teeth.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. they didn't go with vampires, even though it was integral to the story and stuff. So it was weird. It was funny as well. He had that World War II grease gun with the huge flashlight mounted to the fucking thing, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? Oi.
I can't believe you. Them are mine. They're not candy. He's eating my cough drop.
Oh no! They clear him off. Clear him off. Come here, Nanette. I'm gonna speaking about clearing off. I'm gonna have to tear away fairly soon because I got work early in the morning and I want to ring Jen before I go. But I thank you very much. And
same thing. I got a phone call coming in pretty soon too.
So we're probably good.
Well,
We're probably good.
Well, let's address my friend's question. We were talking a bit about a few minutes ago about most of Stephen King's movies are very depressing, and there's only one that we could come up with that we thought wasn't, and that was the Shawshank Redemption. His storylines and the movies that made after that they're just so bleak and depressing and everything. So yeah, Misery is definitely one of them. Of course, it kind of doesn't have a bad ending because he did get away from
But he's
that
traumatized.
crazy.
He's looking over
Yeah,
his shoulder the whole fucking time after it and stuff like that. But no,
yeah.
Nanette, just want to say thanks a million for having me and Joey on the stream. You're the best. I know Joey has got some lady who's actually way fucking ahead my time even, so I know you gotta dust off and get her before she goes to bed.
Yeah.
And I gotta fucking give Jen a bell. But thanks a million for having us on. You were
Thank you very much.
host. You kicked arse.
No, I had a few other people that were supposed to come on. Like he said, Jen, that is a lady, and then the Joey is only on Instagram, and Marty here, and then there's someone else named Trenchy, the trench coat.
So it's Trenchy, the soulless trench coat. Trenchy was supposed to be. Don't worry about it at all.
I didn't down into thing because I thought they would all be on here. Go check them out. They have great channels and everything, and give them a follow if you like what Marty and Joey have been saying here and everything. And thank you for watching and commenting for everyone that did. And sticking with the show. And if you're watching the replay, thank you very much. Leave me some of the movies that depressed you that you like watching anyway.
Well, so long as this doesn't have Bon Jovi's hair, I'll fucking watch it, okay? Right.
Just stick back for a minute. Bye, everyone. And remember, be the person you're meant to be, not the one that everybody expects you to be.